All right. So, first lesson, aim 6.1, what is religion and what is its impact on the world? So, by the end of this aim, you guys should be able to answer that to some extent. And here we go. All right. So, we're going to start off with some pretty easy vocab. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of this term before, monotheism. Monotheism can be defined as the belief of having one God, belief in a single God. So, this goes back to our discussion about Greek and Latin prefixes and suffixes. Mono always means one. So anytime we see monotheism, one God, theist, Theis, is Greek for God. So monotheism is one God. We see this in other places too. Like, you guys ever play the board game Monopoly? Monopoly is one person owns all the stuff. That's the point of the game, right? So we see that at work there too. So Rome, for example, changed from a polytheistic belief to a monotheistic belief. So that's using that word kind of in a sentence there. Next. So if monotheism is one God, polytheism, many gods. Poly is many. We see this in math. We talk about polygons in geometry, for example. A shape with many sides. So we see this prefix all the time. So again, this is Greek, right? So any religion that has more than one God, that's polytheism. So I know a lot of people are familiar with mythology, Greek and Roman mythology, for example. That's all polytheistic, all right? All right, I'll give you a second here. Okay, this is a vocab word that will come up. The state has used it on Regents exams before, so we need to be familiar with it. Animism is the idea that all natural objects have a soul. You see this a lot in like pagan religions and really old school religions. So Native American religions, for example, is another example. So anytime they give spiritual qualities to naturally occurring phenomenon, so the sun, the rain, the moon. You heard of Native Americans doing like a rain dance or something, right? Like, that's an animistic belief because they think there's some religious quality to the weather, for example. So religious, characteristics for rocks and trees and the river and rain and clouds and sun and wind and all that. All that is kind of animistic belief. And it makes sense if you think about it, because the most primitive civilizations, river valleys, for example, their whole existence is made possible by geography and nature, right? We went over rivers and all that stuff. So it makes sense that they place spiritual value on that stuff because those are the things that make life possible: the sun, the river, etc. So to an extent, I suppose it makes sense. All right, so you guys don't have to do this. Hold on, let me stop this.